So it's time to start shading. First and most important thing is to determine where is the light source. So as we were practicing all those cylinders and spheres, we were deciding on a light source before we began. So I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to have my light source coming sort of from this direction. And you're going to choose one basic color for this. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a blue. And I'm going to need a lighter blue as well as a white and maybe even a darker blue. If you don't have these colors available, that's okay. You can make do with just a blue and a white. And I'm going to go ahead and choose my medium blue. I actually don't think I'm going to use this blue. It's a blue-green. I'm going to use my medium blue, and I'm going to go ahead and start shading my guy. Now, because the light is coming in from this angle, this is going to be the highlight, and we're going to create some midtones and some shadows as well. Now, we did look at some shading techniques, so you'll remember you can apply those as you continue along in this unit. So I'm going to lighten up on my pressure over here where I know the highlight's going to be. And I'm going to go in there with my white, and I'm going to use my white as a blender. The great thing about pastel is that you can really work nicely in a circular motion, and it helps to blend all of your colors together. So I could even use my white over my non-highlighted area, over my shadow area, and then it just kind of smooths it out a little bit. And then I can go back over it with that darker color again and bring back some of the darkness, or I could even use an even darker color to create more of a shadow. You can see already this creates a lot of dimension and a lot of form in that head, which is our egg shape. And we're going to do something similar. So if the light's coming from here, the head is going to be blocking a little bit of the light on the neck, so we're not going to see as much of a highlight. And I'm also going to use some of this darker color to create the shadow that would be underneath the neck. Just bring back that shadow. I just lost it a little bit. Again, you're going to continue along this way. So if the light's coming from here, we're probably going to have a lot of lightness hitting the upper chest here. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my regular blue there, and I'm shading kind of lightly so that I can blend as I'd like to with the white or even with the darker blue. I'm going to use my white now. It really just smooths out that shading when you use white as a blender. Remember, you can also go back in with your original color if you found that the white is taking away a bit too much of it. Now remember, you have some other blending techniques that you can use as well, like your finger, or you can also use a paper towel. I really find though that blending with white and bringing back in that next color really works well to smooth everything out. Remember, you don't have to finish each section totally. You can always come back and go over things. So I'm going to add a bit of this darker blue to create some of that shadow coming in from the side, and I'm going to go ahead and use the lighter blue to blend it in just so it doesn't look so dramatic. All right, I'm going to continue now with the waist. Now some of the waist is being covered a bit by the upper part of the torso, so we might not notice as much highlight there. We do want to make sure that we're getting rid of all the gray, that we don't see any gray coming up from behind. So we've got a little more darkness happening here. And the hips are going to follow the same pattern, but they do jut out a little bit on the side there, so we'll see some lightness over there. Of course, there's no way to, we don't have a pastel sharpener, so if your pastel is getting dull on one side, you need to rotate it. And the more you use it on one side, the more it kind of sharpens the edge there, or the tip. Another great thing about pastel is it's really easy to build. So if you don't like, if you feel like it was too white, you can always add more darkness and it will allow you to go directly on top of it, which is wonderful. It's very forgiving. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and work on the arms. So this arm, of course, is going to be quite light. It's getting, as well as the shoulder joint, it's getting the most light if the light is coming down from here. So I'm going to start a little bit with my blue as well over here. Now, if you imagine the cylinders we were shading, the highlight is here. We're going to have a mid-tone and we're going to create a shadow on the edge there. Let's just tackle that top half first. Shoulder joint is nice and light. The left side of the arm here is going to be really light. Then we're moving over to a mid-tone. And the shadow comes and peeks up right underneath the edge of the arm there because it's not getting any light at all.